Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And as always, we have a lot to talk about. You know, I always say you got to always trust in Trump, right? No matter what you see in the news, no matter what you hear, no matter what you see actually happen, always trust in Trump. In fact, there was a story the day before yesterday, and people called me here on the podcast in the afternoon. They called me on the morning live stream giving me grief about it. Some of them Republicans, conservatives, MAGA people, and they wanted me to criticize Trump. And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to criticize Trump. I said, there's something going on here, and we don't know what it is. Well, what is it? I said, well, I don't know. I speculated a little bit. Well, it could be this, it could be that. But I said that whatever it is, you got to trust and try. Everything's fine. Oh, you sycophant, Kool-Aid drinker, all the usual stuff. And these are from some MAGA people calling me, saying this stuff. And now we found out the truth and why you should always trust in Trump. You know that President Trump always tells the truth. You know President Trump puts America and the American people first. And you know that most of the things you see and hear in the news are complete fabrications, okay? Complete lies, fake news. Unless you see President Trump say it himself or one of his tweets or post on social, on True Social or something. But unless you get it directly from the source and it seems out of character or odd or something, don't believe it. Just trust in Trump. What I'm talking about is the story of the 600,000 Chinese students, okay? There was this story the other day that President Trump is allowing 600,000 Chinese students to come into the United States. And there were articles written about it in all the publications. People called me here. And the articles, a lot of them had this theme. Because what these fake news reporters do is they just plagiarize each other. One person somewhere makes something up, and everybody else just copies and pastes and puts their byline on it. And one of the things they were, and I've got the truth, which we're going to play for you in just a moment. They were saying, well, he's hit these colleges so hard, he's got to let these 600,000 Chinese students into the country because they won't have enough students and they'll go bankrupt. Remember that? Yeah, that was just yesterday. And the day before, I'm hearing this from people. It just total not. Okay, so listen to this. This is Emily Campagno on Outnumbered Today on Fox, telling us the truth about these 600,000 Chinese students.
By telling Fox News, quote, President Trump is not proposing an increase in student visas for Chinese students. The 600K references 2 years worth of visas, which is simply a continuation of existing policy. Molly,
Okay, so there are no new students at all coming in. There's not 600,000 or even really 300,000. The ones that are already here, they're letting their visas extend for another year. So the story was 100% fake news. And so many conservative influencers, how could he do this? Why are these people always questioning Trump? You either trust Trump or you don't, right? I trust him. Don't you? So why it seems to me, has he ever steered us wrong? I don't think so. It seems to me that I'm like the only MAGA guy out there that's not jumping to try to attack Trump all the time. I see all these people. They take issue with him on the flag issue. They take issue with him on this fake news story. I mean, I knew from the get-go there was something not kosher about that story. And now we know what the truth is. So, I know a lot of people say panicking. Yeah, there are panicans out there. But there's also a lot of fake MAGA. Welcome to the program, everyone. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And if you're watching me live, And I'm in the studio. You can always call in. The number's toll-free. If you're watching live right now, the toll-free number to call in is pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So when you hear a story like that, why would you be upset at Trump? I don't understand. You know, when you come to the MAGA movement, when has Trump ever done anything that didn't support our movement and our country and exactly? Oh my goodness. Now the Democrats, they've taken a break because they're, you know, this tragedy that happened yesterday morning. They're getting into the Second Amendment discussion and all that stuff. But they're starting to get back into defending criminals' rights in their mind to do crime in major blue cities. It's just crazy. Now, Bowser, the mayor of D.C.'s come out and commended President Trump for what he's doing, which is very unusual. But the Democrats are outraged, and we're not 100% sure what the outrage is about. Is it just knee-jerk Trump derangement syndrome? Trump does something, Trump says something, so they automatically disagree with it. There's some of that. Are they sympathetic to the criminals? Yeah, there's some of that. Do they not want the criminals to go to prison? Yeah, there's some of that. You know, there's a lot of things going on. But Carolyn Leavitt, who is really like the best secretary, the only press secretary we've ever had that comes close to her is a guy that was press secretary for a very short time with George W. Bush, and that was Tony Snow. Anybody remember Tony Snow? He died of cancer, sadly. He was very good with the press. He was at Fox News for a long, long time, and he left Fox News, took a job as the White House press spokesperson, but then he got cancer, and he wasn't there very long. And he would debate the press and rip them up. I mean, you know, he would say to them, now they would ask him one of these stupid questions like you hear all the time, and Tony Snow would say, now you know that's not true. You know, and he would do all that kind of, it was hilarious. But that was a long time ago, and he wasn't press secretary very long. Carolyn Leavitt's spectacular. And one of the things that makes her good is they're never able to crack her. She's always in control of the room, which is a very difficult thing to do because they have this overcrowded room that's hot and stuffy. There's probably not a lot of air to breathe in there. There's so many people in this small space, and they're all nasty for the most part. They're just nasty. And every question she gets, they're trying to catch her on something. She never loses her cool, and she always keeps control of the conversation and keeps control of the room with these heavy hitters in there. That's not easy to do. It looks easy because she's so good at it, but it's not easy to do. So the crime situation in Washington, D.C., I want to play this clip. This is Carolyn Leavitt. She's going over the crime stats over the last, well, I guess is it 2 weeks today, or are we a day short of 2 weeks? It's like 13 days, maybe 14 days since President Trump took over law enforcement duties in the District of Columbia.
In other news, President Trump continues to deliver on his promise to restore law and order to our nation's capital. Since President Trump's intervention, there have been more than 1,283 arrests right here in the District of Columbia. Total crime in D.C. is down 19%, and violent crime is down 30%.
Wow.
Carjackings in the district are down 67%. Homicides are down 57%. Robberies are down 40%. Motor vehicle thefts are down 32%. And assaults with dangerous weapons are down 23%. And property crime is down 18%. These numbers prove the president's bold actions to make D.C. safe and beautiful again are working, just like he said they would.
Exactly. I mean, everything is down, and it's down a lot. And I bet you those are conservative numbers because they've only had one murder in the 2 weeks. So it's got to, homicide has to be down more than 50%. But that is amazing. And look, the Democrats are pissed off. Do you know, you get your cars, first off, the homicide's down. So there's people that are alive that would be dead if Trump had not taken over. And so far as robberies and car thefts, you know, you get your car stolen, that sucks. You know, if you get your car stolen and you get it back and it's in perfect condition, which never happens, but if you get it back and it's in perfect condition, you've got a marked title. and the car is so devalued you can never trade it in. When you go and sell it, it's got the theft on the title. It's a mess. And I've known people who have had their cars stolen, and the people I've known that have had their cars stolen and got them back all had the same experience. The car never smelled the same again. The car stunk. Anyone know anyone who's had a car stolen and recovered? The car stinks. I don't know if it's the BO of the car thieves or if they put something inside the vents, but the cars just had a forever stink in them. Plus the title's marked. And, it's like the title's marked in a way as if you had totaled your car and you fixed it. That's always, you got a title that's just, it sucks. It just messes you up forever. All right, let's take some calls. But this is all good news. I know people like bad news on the left when it comes to Trump, but it's all good news with President Trump, as you can see. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Nate. I'm calling.
Yeah. You got a very bad phone connection, Nate.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. My name is Nate. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm 50 years old. I'm a veteran.
Okay.
And I've caught some of the clips of your show, and I just don't understand how Republicans can follow Trump. I don't understand how the hypocrisy that the Republican Party, and I'm not a Democrat. I'm not here to talk up Biden or any of that. I'm just saying, as a Republican, how can you stand for someone who is so racist? He's an insurrectionist. He cheated on his wife with a porn star. But it's just the whole, like Second Amendment.
Let's slow down for a minute, because you made some statements. Right. You listed three things. He cheated on his wife with a porn star. What were the other two?
Yep.
What were the other two?
He's an insurrectionist.
Okay. And what was the other one?
And probably racist.
Okay. No. I know you'd rather, but I want to talk about these first, because a lot of Trump haters throw out all these things. Now, you're out of breath. Are you okay?
I can back up the things I'm saying.
Are you okay? Because you're out of breath.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. Why are you out of breath?
I'm not out of breath.
Okay. You sound out of breath. Okay, let's just go through these.
No, it's probably the connection.
Let's go through these one by one. You said that President Donald John Trump is a racist. Can you give me an example of something racist he's done? Because I'm not aware of anything.
The Obama thing. Obama was the birth certificate thing.
No, that was okay. Slow down. Okay, the birth certificate. Donald Trump. No, do you know who first asked Obama to produce his birth certificate? It wasn't Donald Trump. You know who?
Well, that was, you asked me for an example that Donald Trump did.
No. Do you know? No. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. The birth certificate question began. I'll tell you. Okay, the birth certificate question was asked first during the Democrat primary period by.
Well, then it was racist then too.
Oh yeah. Okay, racist. It was it was
racist.
Great. Okay. It was Hillary Rodham Clinton's campaign. Hillary Rodham Clinton, when she was running.
I don't
care what you're here for. You said some terrible things about the greatest president this nation's ever had.
I'm not here to defend
Hillary. And I'm not gonna allow. Excuse me. I'm not gonna allow.
Of him being racist.
And you haven't given one. Hillary Clinton was the one that asked for that birth certificate, and everyone in America was talking about it.
Did Trump not ask for it?
It's not racist to ask for it.
It's racist when you're using against a black man for running for president.
No, it's not. Hillary Clinton first asked for that. Then her campaign started searching for it.
Hillary did it.
And, I, for example, when I got my birth certificate, when I got my passport, to get my passport, I had to not only produce my birth certificate, I had to produce a certified copy with the raised state seal on it. Was it racist for them to ask me for my birth certificate, for my passport?
No, but it was racist to use.
Well, hold on a second. Okay, so here's what
Let me finish my sentence.
No.
Finish my sentence?
Finish your sentence.
Finish my sentence.
Go ahead. I don't know if you can. Go ahead.
It's racist to say Obama was born in Africa.
He didn't say he was born in Africa. He
say he was born in Kenya. And
no, President Trump didn't say that. No. He just said he's never produced a birth. See, I had to, and everybody has to do this, by the way. You have to produce a birth certificate.
You're conflating two things here.
No, I'm not. Listen, if you would listen, if you would stop, listen, I want to have a conversation with you, but you got to stop talking.
But you're not letting me say my part.
We are having a conversation. We take turns. We're talking about this right now. You know, I had to produce my birth certificate as everyone else has to do to get a U.S. passport. There's other things.
That's not racist,
there's other things you have to produce your birth certificate for. If I had
but that's not the point I made.
Would you stop? Would you stop talking and listen for a second? You said you're a veteran. You learned some discipline at one point in your life. Okay. Yep. If you have to produce your birth certificate to get a passport, don't you think it's a good idea to require someone to produce a birth certificate before you give them the nuclear football in the command of the most powerful military ever?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
How's it racist? How's it racist to ask somebody for their birth certificate before you give them an army and the nuclear football?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Okay, it's not racist to ask somebody for the birth certificate. It's racist when a black man is running for president to say that he doesn't have a birth certificate because he's born in Africa.
No, hold on. I'm just putting these other callers on hold. President Trump didn't say he was born in Africa. He said he's never shown his birth certificate. And you know what? Obama produced a document that he said was his birth certificate. The second thing you said is that he cheated on his wife with a porn star. Who is this porn star?
And that led to 34 felonies.
Excuse me. Who is this porn star that President Trump had sex with? Stormy Daniels gave a statement, a sworn statement in a deposition that was signed by witnesses and notarized that she did not have sex with President Trump.
Then why did he give her a $130,000 check? And why did Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, can I please finish my sentence? Why did he also paid for Michael Cohen took a loan out on his house, which he went to prison for this for, and then he used $130,000 of it and gave it to Stormy Daniels. Yeah. And then Trump paid for that as he ended up giving $450,000 to Michael Cohen.
Okay, hold on, and I'll explain all of this to you. And I'm glad you brought this up because you're a fountain of misinformation, and a lot of people think all these wackadoodle things are true.
Name one thing that's misinformation that I've
everything that you've said is untrue.
All of it is true. He wrote a check to Stormy Daniels for $130,000.
President Trump did not write her. No, he did not write Stormy Daniels a check. In fact, Stormy Daniels.
And then he falsified
excuse me, I'm speaking.
Connection to that.
In fact, Stormy Daniels wrote Donald Trump a check and was ordered to pay for his lawyers. No, Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels.
He went to jail for that. That's why he went to jail. Yeah.
Michael Cohen
took a loan out on his house to do it, and Trump paid that loan off. He paid about $450,000.
Listen, I'm going to do this with you on the phone or without, but you can't interrupt me when I'm not done with my thoughts, okay? And then try to start off another argument. You got to chill out because this is important.
Argument.
This is important. Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels, not President Trump. Michael Cohen,
right, which is why he went to jail.
Here you go again. What are you, 12? Have you ever learned how to speak on the phone? Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels. He was President Trump's personal lawyer, and he lied on his billing and put it down as an expense and got reimbursed from Trump. Trump didn't know what he was. Trump didn't know what he was paying for. Michael Cohen. No, excuse me. Michael in a corrupt court. Michael Cohen was part of a. One of these lawfare deep state ops to try to jam up Trump. Stormy Daniels gave a sworn statement that she never had sex with Donald Trump. It's notarized. You can look it up online. And she had to pay Donald Trump's lawyers. So that's not true. What was the last thing you said? You said he was a racist. It is not true. Oh, these insurrectionists. Now, I'm this is one that I'm really confused about because you say President Trump led an insurrection as an insurrectionist.
Yes, he's been an open rebellion against the Constitution for years.
When did he overthrow a government? I missed that. I didn't
say he overthrew the government.
What did he do? Well, that's what an insurrection
I said he
is.
led an insurrection. He's an insurrectionist.
What insurrection did he lead?
Okay, this is what he did. He sent a mob to the Capitol to stop the certification of votes.
No, he did not.
The Constitution calls for.
No, he didn't do that.
Please let me finish. Please let me finish
go
my
ahead.
sentence.
Go ahead.
The votes after the election, you have until January 6th.
We know how the process works. Everybody knows.
Well, he tried to, please let me talk. He tried to stop that. He's been an open rebellion against that the whole time.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't. He
did. And he also gave aid and comfort to them.
Excuse me.
He gave aid
said,
and comfort to the
slow down
insurrectionists,
a second. All right, you're on hold. He said, peacefully let your voices be heard. Peacefully let your voices be heard. Peacefully let your voices be heard is not inciting or leading an insurrection. And when his term was up, he got on Air Force One and flew to Mar-a-Lago, and Biden was sworn in on that day.
Yes, but he's on the 6th. He sent a whole bunch of people up to the Capitol.
He did not send anyone. No, he did. He did
told
not.
them to go down there.
No,
he
said let your voice.
He
said let your voices peacefully be heard. He didn't say bust
in. We're
in.
going to walk down Pennsylvania
and
Avenue.
let your voices be peacefully heard. That's called a peaceful demonstration.
He tried to interrupt the certification of the vote. Can I finish my sentence, please?
No, you can't. I mean, I can't. I don't mind arguing and debating people, but you can't interrupt every syllable. None of what he said was true. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be right back.
Hear ye, hear ye. Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Floridians, take note. Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida have allocated $280 million for the 25-26 fiscal year to fund new grants under My Safe Florida Home program. This grant is up to $10,000 when you spend $15,000 or more on your project. This may include roofing and wind mitigation systems. Go online at mysafefloridahome.com and get approved before the money is gone. If you need help, please call me, Tom Laporta, 954-604-4602, or find us at laportaroofing.com. It's simple. When you spend $1, the state matches $2 up to $10,000. They send you a check. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it is. So again, call us at 954-604-4602 or find us at laportaroofing.com.
On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, welcome to the program, and make sure you subscribe. I have a full board of calls, so I'm going to go to the calls. And I did enjoy that conversation, and it gave me an opportunity to correct the record on some hardcore slanders that liberals toss around about the greatest president of our lifetime and arguably in the history of this nation, and that's Donald Trump. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Nate. I'd like to finish my point without you interrupting me.
Nate, I'll give you one last word, but I got a full board. I gave you plenty of time, so I'm kind of moving on. But I'll give you the last word.
You interrupted me. I was telling you how he
It's my
did
show.
An insurrection.
No, it's my show, and I'm not going to turn it over to you. I mean, I kept you. We talked for like 20 minutes. I've got a whole bunch of other calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from.
It's hard to hear you. Can you speak up?
Sorry, just a second.
Nah, I'll put you on hold and we'll try back in a bit. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good afternoon, Brian. How you doing? This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick, hold on. I want to answer some of these calls. Yeah, what's up, Nick?
Yeah, I'm listening to the last caller. I'm amazed at these kids that are calling up. I mean, I call them kids, but they're not. But compared to me, they are, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so uninformed because I don't know. President Trump was cleared by Merrick Garland. He was cleared by the Mueller investigation. And he was cleared by Bill Barr just last week, wasn't he? Last week, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't Bill Barr, who colluded with Fannie Willis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, when you present people with facts, it's amazing they don't want to listen to the facts.
Everything that you said and everything I said is 100% factual. And these Trump haters, they just don't want to hear it. And I don't mind correcting the record from time to time, but I can't go around and around in a circle with them forever.
Exactly. You handle it very. I mean, I have to say, you handle it very well, and the shows are excellent.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the call. I appreciate that. Yeah.
We look forward to it every day, and we all listen and watch, and we really appreciate it. Want you to know that. You have a whole league of listeners that really appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate all the listeners, so that's great.
We've got our problems here in this town, but we're in the spotlight now, which is important. And I think we're going to get help too, but we're down on the list. But
Baltimore,
Chicago's coming. Yeah, Chicago's coming first. New York, and then who knows what else? But
could be Minneapolis.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing with regard to Minneapolis. I saw that. If I could just say, just briefly, that what was that press conference or news conference with that mayor?
Oh yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous! I mean, what is going on in Minneapolis? Is it the climate or what's
I don't
going
know.
on up there?
I don't know. They're very soy boy and liberal. Well, Nick, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
All right, take care. Thank you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
My question is to that caller two calls ago, how could you be a Republican and not support Donald Trump, the greatest president of all time?
Exactly.
Absolutely insanity. I don't know. It's just too many misinformed people, too many people unwilling to hear what's really going on. All the stuff he's saying, I'm just sitting there laughing. It was just for a second, just chalking on every little thing he was saying. I can't believe how many, and as far as the insurrection, the only thing you'd have to say to him is this. Donald Trump was still a sitting president at the time of January 6th. What was he going to do? Have an insurrection against himself?
Exactly.
It's unbelievable how the common sense just goes right out.
By the way, I'm glad he mentioned January 6th because the military, the Pentagon, Secretary of Defense, soon to be Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, they reversed the Air Force decision under Biden. And Ashley Babbitt is going to get a military funeral with full military honors, which she was denied by the Biden Pentagon. Yeah, appreciate the call. That's pretty amazing. All right, let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Reggie. I'm from Tucson.
All right, Reggie. We got a good connection now.
Hi, sorry about that earlier. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. Look, the way I view things is you're my fellow American. We're all Americans in this together. And, like, you know, what makes us American is our love for the Constitution, law and order, and our love for the founding principles of this country, you know. And so that's one of the reasons why I can't vote far left, because I don't think the far left believes in those sorts of things. It's also the reason I did not vote for Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump characterizes those things. I think he's broken the law, and I think he's officially earned the title of being someone who's uniquely authoritarian. And I can provide examples of that.
Well,
but,
first of all, now slow down for a second, because you brought up some good things about, you know, okay, so President Trump, you know, he is not uber conservative. He's a moderate conservative on many things. You know, he's not like a Pat Robertson Christian Coalition type Republican. That's one thing. But you said that he's a what? A totalitarian? What did you say that he was?
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian? Give me an example of him. And I want to talk about the second term, this glorious and beautiful second and non-consecutive term. What's something that he's doing that's with outside the bounds of presidential powers?
So there's a few things. I can give multiple examples.
Pick the biggest
one. Recent one.
Pick the biggest.
Ooh, the biggest one is probably all of the illegal deportations to CCOP without due process, multiple human rights violations.
That's not true. First off, we'll get to the human rights violations lie. They have all had due process. The illegals?
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
That's not true.
Sure. Most of them have been given court orders, and they haven't even shown up to court many times years later. Many of them have been to court. The due process for an illegal is different than the due process of a U.S. citizen if you or I were to get jammed up. It's a different process.
So it might be a different process to some degree, but the question is, what did that due process look like? For a lot of these people, it was them trying to show up to court and then being kidnapped by ICE and then deported.
Kidnapped by ICE?
Yeah.
So some of them, it's been 25 years and some of them haven't shown up to court. What do you mean they couldn't get to court? They got to the United States from South America. They couldn't get to the local courthouse. What a bunch of bullshit. Give me a break. Do you really believe that? All right, tell me about the human rights abuses at Alligator Alcatraz.
Wait, we've seen it happen. I'm not concerned about Alligator Alcatraz.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is people who are on their way to court to try to follow the law, who are being deported by ICE and kidnapped by ICE.
They're not being kidnapped. They're being arrested by federal agents who have
they're being taken
who have warrants. Yeah, because they're fugitives from justice. You can't you can't be a fugitive for justice and then say, oh, no, you can't arrest me now. I'm on my way to court 5 years later. It doesn't work that way.
Yes. No, if you're on your way to court and you're trying to turn yourself in, you shouldn't have to be arrested.
Well, they're in custody now. ICE, they're federal officers with arrest powers. They're federal agents, like FBI.
What? Yeah, so why aren't they going after MS-13 like they said
they are? They are, like this fake Maryland man that you liberals are trying to turn into the new Martin Luther King, the human trafficker. He's MS-13. A lot of them are MS-13.
Well, first of all, I'm conservative, but also only 20% of these people are arrested. So only about 20% of people being arrested have any violent criminal background.
It doesn't matter. They're all criminals. They have a 100% criminal crime rate because they're illegal in this country.
Right. So normally when we say criminal, we're talking about people with a violent criminal behavior or anti.
No, you liberals are always calling Trump a criminal. You know, he doesn't have any violent criminal convictions. He has some white-collar fake crime they brought against him.
No, two things. He tried to lead an insurrection against our democracy.
No, he did not lead an insurrection. He did not.
Yes, so there was...
but we're talking about the second term. We're talking about the second term. But no, that's not true. I already had a conversation with another liberal about that. No, we're talking about the second term now. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Round and round, the liberal circle we go. You're on the air. My goodness. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on. Yep, you're on.
Pittsburgh.
You're on the air.
Hey, I'm on the air.
For a moment. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man? I just wanted to know if you saw a video of Trump fucking a child when he's still...
Isn't that nice? Isn't that a nice guy? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Ryan, calling from Arkansas.
Oh, hold on, Ryan. I was going to answer some of these phones. Okay. All right, Ryan, what's on your mind? Oops, sorry. There you go. All right, Ryan, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Yes, Dave.
Oh,
Virginia.
Dave. Oh, Dave, I got the lines mixed up. We'll get to Ryan eventually. I'm sorry. There's a lot of lines busy. What's on your mind, Dave in Virginia?
Yeah, Brian, I've been on the air with people about the religious tone that we were on this morning. But first of all, I want to ask you, did Donald Trump hire back all the IRS agents that he fired?
I haven't heard that. Not that I know of, but
I want to make sure.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, now, and the other question is, we've been on the Constitution talk about religion, and I said, you all got to remember that 200 and some years ago when the Constitution was written up, it was for the religious zealots of the age on the Bible. It was the Protestants, the Puritans, it was still on the Bible. But it wasn't on the other groups that weren't even known by them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make it clear to them, and they keep saying, no, it was on the Quran and all this. I said, no, they didn't even know nothing about that.
Okay. Some of them may have. I don't know. There weren't as many, the Barbary pirates who we were at war with when Thomas Jefferson was president, they were Muslim.
Yeah.
And that's why they always point to Thomas Jefferson had a Quran in his collection. It's because he was trying. It was, they didn't have the NSA and stuff back then, so he was trying to understand the Muslim Barbary pirates. That's why he sent the Marines to Libya. That's where the Marine Corps him from the shores of Tripoli come from. But yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. All right, Dave in Virginia. Appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ryan from
Hey, Ryan.
Arkansas.
Sorry about that, Ryan. I got the lines reversed. You're on the air now. What's on your mind?
Awesome, and I'm a huge Trump supporter. I appreciate what you're doing. My concern is what Trump administration is saying about allowing 600,000 Chinese student visas.
Okay, I actually, that was my lead story at the top of the program. I'll just tell it to you,
I missed it.
You can rewind it and hear it. That's not true. Total fake story.
Total fake story.
Yep.
Okay, if it doesn't come to fruition, I guess I don't got a problem with
rewind the video and go to the beginning, and I go over the story. Totally fake news.
Keep up the good work then, brother.
All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah, David.
My name's George from California, and I want to know how pathetic you are to still support this man.
Okay.
I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what in your mindset makes you think that Trump is actually fixing this country.
Well, he just passed, just as an example, he did a few things. He shut down the southern border, which if you're in California...
Literally, the border was shut down back in Obama's time, dude.
Oh, my God. Where'd the 20... Oh, my goodness. Come on. Come on. How can I even talk to you?
You do realize you're an illegal immigrant, right?
How can I even talk to you? Native American? I'm a Native American. I am a Native American. I am a Native American.
You're an illegal immigrant.
No, I'm a Native American.
You're not a real immigrant.
No, I am a Native American.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're a person that's supporting it.
Now, excuse me. I was born in the United States of America. I am a native to America. Well, then you're a Native American too. We're both. Oh my goodness. We're both Native Americans. Oh my goodness. These soy boys and incels. My Lord. He's born in the United States. I'm born in the United States. We are both Native Americans. Oh, man. Let me talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. Is that not what makes you a Native American? You know, the Indians are not indigenous to the Americas either, right? They came from Asia. We heard about all this, the land bridge and everything. So why are they Native American if I'm not? Right? No, I'm a Native American. Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment is really a miraculous thing. He has rid me of pain 7 times from all different kinds. Injuries, accidents, arthritis, falls, everything. And his laser treatment, it works. There's no pain medication. There's no drugs. There's no shots. Nothing. It's 100% painless. In fact, you don't even feel it when you're having the treatment. It is absolutely amazing. Dr. Appleton, by the way, we have had listeners from all over the United States travel to Florida to see Dr. Appleton. You know, when you're in pain, it sucks. It really does. And Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment is so good and so effective. People have traveled from all over this country to come right here to Florida and be treated by Dr. Appleton, who performs all the treatments himself. Now, walk-ins are welcome and appointments are never necessary, even on Saturdays with Dr. Appleton. But if you're coming from out of town and out of state, you might want to make an appointment. You can make an appointment. You just don't have to. Here's his number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, and online, AppletonChiro.com. All right, those of you on hold, stand by. I want to go through some other stories here because there is a lot going on. And since that guy missed the beginning of the show, if he's tuned in now, I wanted to play this. This is about the fake news story about the 600,000 Chinese students that Trump's letting in. Totally fake news. Listen, this is Fox News reporting on it earlier.
By telling Fox News, quote, President Trump is not proposing an increase in student visas for Chinese students. The 600K references 2 years worth of visas, which is simply a continuation of existing policy.
Okay, so he's not letting 600,000 Chinese in. They're renewing the visas of some Chinese students that are already here, okay? So a complete fake story. I wanted to talk, though, about this. The Minneapolis church shooter, a former classmate, said that she knew something was off. You know, I remember when the Parkland incident happened, there were students there who, before he was identified, were saying, I think it's, this guy. And they... there was one girl who actually bumped into him escaping in the hallway during the chaos. And she's like, oh, I'm surprised you're here. I thought you would have been the shooter. You know, when these things happen, we find out from a lot of people who know them that they've got all kinds of problems. And that's where the personal responsibility comes in. You know, a lot of these students, they, that have these problems, or young men that have these problems, the people around them know they're disturbed. And it's up to the parents, who obviously were very involved in his life, to intervene and get him help, and maybe even get him involuntarily committed. And here we are, a day and a half after the incident. We don't know much more than we knew 2 hours after, do we? No. The media is already starting to cover this up because his background doesn't fit their narrative and their stereotype that they want to promote of who these types of people are that do these terrible things. There's a lot of people involved, but I'll tell you, from what I've heard, the mother is the most responsible. She's the one that took him for that treatment when he was 17 and everything else, okay? And I'm not even sure, have you heard where he lives? Did he live with his parents, or was he living on his own? I have not heard that. Now, I may have missed it. But how did he have all these weapons that cost a lot of money? And if he was living at home, the parents certainly had to know about it. But there's a lot of family responsibility here. Everyone's blaming this and blaming that. I'm not saying there's not a whole bunch of factors that led to this awful thing done by this evil monster. However, there's a lot of signs around someone like this. And if you've seen, I saw one of the videos. I couldn't watch it for long, of this guy. It was scary to watch. And I'll tell you, it would have been disturbing to watch even if this tragedy didn't happen yesterday. That guy was messed up. And the people around him, his parents in particular, have a lot of responsibility for what happened. There's no way they could not have known that their son was dangerous and completely off his rocker. And I would also find it hard to believe they didn't know he had all those weapons. I came across this today, and, liberal. You hear some of these unhinged liberals. This is an unhinged liberal lady.
Good morning. It's Monday. I have a question for those that have voted for this administration.
Yes.
Did you vote for the Department of Education to be taken out?
Yeah. In fact, closing the Department of Education has been a part of the Republican Party platform since Ronald Reagan, okay? Republicans have wanted to shut down the Department of Education for that long. And it wasn't that old. Department of Education was started by Jimmy Carter, okay? So Republicans have always wanted the Department of Education shut down. So when President Trump shut down the Department of Education, that is not only a campaign promise, that's one of the foundations of the Republican Party platform since Ronald Reagan. And I don't remember if it was in his first term or when he was running in 84 for re-election, but no, that was right at the top. You know, how many things on the party platform has President Trump accomplished? Shut down the border, deportations, overturn Roe v. Wade, shut down the Department of Education, the biggest tax cuts in history with the big, beautiful bill. I think he's accomplished the entire party platform. But yes, we did vote for that because Republicans have wanted that since Reagan.
Good morning. It's Monday. I have a question for those that have voted for this administration. Did you vote for the Department of Education to be taken out?
Yes.
Dismantled. Did you vote for that?
Yes, I did. I just explained.
I'm just curious.
Yes. Well, now you know.
I'm sure you wanted them to change things, but dismantling a department that helps your children and helps a lot of people.
Really? Who does it help? You know, who does the Department of Education help? Now, this clip, this one really cracked me up. I saw this on Rapid Response 47 on X, which is like a Trump Twitter account. It's pretty good. I follow it. And I saw this, and I thought it was a parody. I thought that was the actor that plays Biff from Back to the Future at some event. I thought this was like a meme. Doesn't this guy look like Biff? Like the old Biff from Back to the Future 2? But he's a sitting Democrat member of the House of Representatives.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves.
Yeah, okay, Biff. He's Biff. Yeah, he's really upset. Doesn't he look like he looked like Biff in the first one? Is this guy got an ascot on? Oh my goodness, Mr. Hal here. Any of you know anyone that wears an ascot today? I don't have any friends that wear ascots. You know, I had a call. I played this because I had a call about this. This is one of their talking points that they brought back from a few months ago, that the illegals have not gotten due process. They have all gotten due process. The process is different than the process of an American citizen. But look at this fake Maryland man. How many judges has he been in front of? How many courts has he seen? Before he was deported the first time, when he first got picked up by the Trump administration, he had been seen by an immigration judge who ordered him deported, and the appellate court judge said he should be deported. And that was like years ago. Okay? Plus, he went to court when he beat his wife up and stuff, too. And what liberals want to happen is this. They want illegals to continue to go through due process that never ends and then just stay here year after year with this supposed due process circle that just never ends so that they're here forever. And that's just not the way it works. They have all gotten due process. It's just a different process. There's different processes for different crimes, right? If you get a speeding ticket and you go to traffic court, it's not the same as if you're in a vehicular manslaughter case where you were drunk and you go through court. There's a different process. So there's all kinds of processes that are legal that are different. And, you know, they go around and say, well, they don't have due process. No, they don't have due. Yes, they have. In fact, at Alligator Alcatraz, I'm wearing an Alligator Alcatraz shirt right now. You know, at Alligator Alcatraz, they have access to lawyers, okay? So how do they not have due process and access to the legal system if they're down there with attorneys? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Brian. How you doing?
All right.
Jay from New York.
Hey, Jay.
Let me just lower my volume over here.
Yeah.
How you doing? I just want to say you're doing a great job on the show.
Thank you.
And also, I don't understand where these liberals are coming from with this immigration. If you walked over the border illegally, you're not here legally. There's plenty of people spending tens of thousands of dollars to get into the United States, and for walking over the border, like it's a free buffet over here, should not stay here one day, let alone 1 hour.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're right.
I'm just confused. I'm just confused whether they're being paid by the USAID as well, just to voice their opinion that they would want.
Well, thankfully, USAID is not around to pay activists anymore.
Yes, yes, they are. They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what it is with it depends on which Democrat, liberal person you're talking about. You're talking about these soy boys and incels and trolls I've been talking to, these idiots that have been calling me on the program here. And they are just soy boys that hate Trump, and Trump's doing something, so they're against it. The ones I was talking to today. And they're uninformed and stupid. I mean, you heard some of them. They don't know what the heck's going on. And they think they're so smart. All right. Appreciate the call. Take care. I had a couple more clips I wanted to play. Oh, yeah. Here's AOC. Yeah, they were telling she was pregnant. No, she's not pregnant. She's just gaining weight because she's drinking.
I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy because...
Don't you love this? Media
literacy. That is a
literacy.
part of what happened here.
Media literacy.
And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation.
Isn't that something? So she wants to work on this media literacy and thing so you can't spread misinformation. So what AOC is talking about here is a ministry of truth who will determine what is truth and what is misinformation. Is that how things run in the United States? Who's to decide what the truth is? Some liberal jerk? Exactly. Give me a break. But, this makes perfect sense to liberals. We need to have this. We need to have this.
That is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false.
Wow, really? Like the planet would only be able to support life for 12 more years, and here we are, like 6 years later, and what's going to happen? We have 6 years left, AOC. President Trump's done so many great things. One of the great things he's done is totally exposed and discredited the fake news media. And the problem they have with the media is they don't have a monopoly on the media, and the fake news liberal media no one believes anymore, right? And what she's really saying is we've lost control. We don't have, our propaganda machine's been exposed, and we can't sell lies anymore through the media. That's what she's saying. So she wants to shut down real media and people like me that are voicing their opinions because they can't get their false narratives out there anymore and convince people of things. And what's crazy about that? It's not that she thinks that or wants to do that. She goes on Instagram Live and is bragging about it. We need this ministry of truth. We have to stop opinions that disagree with ours and label it lies. The fact that she speaks this way out loud is pretty frightening. If she was really in power, not some little House of Representative member, like if she was in the White House, and could you imagine what a President AOC would be like who thinks that's East Germany, man. Totally East Germany. Now, Sunny Hostin, she gave an interview, and of course, she's gone Michael Jackson. Someone showed me a picture a few weeks ago of Sunny Hostin before she went for this Michael Jackson look. And Sunny Hostin, I know she's African American, but she says something that I think is very strange about black people, and I could say would be racist. Listen to this.
People don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses.
Did you hear that? Black people don't have cars or driver's licenses?
People don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws where black people had to prove their right to vote. And oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. So really the bottom line is voter suppression. And
voter suppression. Okay, blacks don't have ID. Are any black people out there without ID and car? Okay, you know, what an idiot she is. In 2004, when Bush was running for re-election, I went to vote on Election Day. And it was a busy election day. That was Bush versus John Kerry. I had to wait in line a long time. I left my wallet in my car, and I didn't realize it until I got up to vote. And I get up to the poll worker. They asked me for my ID. I went to get it, and I was like, oh, I left my wallet in the car. What do you think she did? It's a true story. I talked about it at the time when it happened. I was ticked. This is what she did. She said, you can't vote. You got to have ID. Well, wait a minute. Sunny Hostin just said that's racist. I said, okay. I said, I left, and I was in line a long time. That was a big, big election, 2004. I said, I'll go to my car and get my wallet. I said, can I skip the line since I waited in line all this time? She says, no. You have to go to the back of the line and wait in line all over again, she said. Now, why did she do that? Why do you think she did that? You know why she did that? She was hoping I wouldn't bother to get back in line and wait and wouldn't vote. Okay, she saw me. She looked up my name. I told her she knew I was a Republican because she looked me up. That's how Democrats operate when you're a Republican. And you know what? That's okay. I should have checked, and I've never made that mistake again. I should have had my ID because I do support government issue ID being required to vote. I'm in favor of that. She did the right thing. I thought I could have skipped the line though when I came back the second time, but I waited in the line again and I voted for war criminal George W. Bush. I didn't know he was a war criminal at the time. But this idea that black people don't have ID is absurd. And that, I mean, come on. You know, that's a very old thing. I haven't heard a Democrat make that claim about black people not having voter ID in a long time. And I was a little surprised, actually, to hear her say it. Now, there's one story here I want to pull up. This one, I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to talk about it. The Air Force has reversed the Biden administration decision on Ashley Babbitt, and Ashley Babbitt is going to be given a proper military funeral with full honors. And I wouldn't be surprised if the president attends or Pete Hegseth. I don't know. Maybe they won't. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. But that's pretty amazing, and she certainly deserves it because if you see the full video, Ashley Babbitt was trying to stop what was happening. Remember, she was trying to stop it. She went up to the Capitol Police and was trying to get them to stop people from coming in there. Remember that? Have you seen the full video? And then her life was taken from her by that Capitol Police officer. And she certainly deserves a proper military funeral with honors. And I hope that's like at least streamed like on Right Side Broadcasting or something. I don't expect the TV to carry it. Maybe Fox will. I don't know. Agree or disagree or hate me or hatred, you're welcome to call in, as you heard on the phones today. But make sure you subscribe and also like the video and click that notification bell if you don't mind. And if you're feeling really generous, if you could share the video on all your social media, that would be super awesome and cool. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.